and today we are going through a 2014 horror thriller called Eat. The movie starts with a struggling actress named Novella McClure who wakes up at 7 a.m. and gets ready for an audition. She goes to a production company and registers herself in the signing-in sheet and meets a girl named Tracy in the waiting room. At first, Novella tries to avoid her, but Tracy recognizes her and taunts her for not getting a role in films or even commercials. She jeers at her and tells her that the reason why she does not get roles is she is not young like Tracy. Tracy tells her that she has got the part for which Novella was rejected. While they both engage in a heated conversation, the casting director comes out of the producer's office and calls Tracy in. Novella gets angry and tells the casting director that she came before Tracy. The casting director tells her that the producer has requested to call Tracy first. Tracy pokes fun at Novella before she enters the producer's office. In the next scene, Novella gets into her car in the parking lot and bites the nail on her thumb, and spits a piece of nail out. She arrives at her apartment, and just after a while, Novella's landlady Isha shows up with her dog, Jethro. She tells Novella that her dog has started biting his private parts and that's why she has wrapped a cone around his neck. Then, she rambles around and tries to ask Novella for paying the rent, but then she starts asking about her auditions. Novella tells her that she had a good audition and she is hoping for the best. She somehow makes Isha leave the house, and after that, she receives a call from somebody while she looks for something to eat in the refrigerator. Then, we see Novella with her best friend called Candace in the club. She tells her about her audition and the producer's favoritism towards Tracy at the production company. Candace asks her about Tracy and learns that she gets the parts most probably because she is in her early 20s. Novella tells her that Tracy is not very attractive to become a movie star. She also tells Candace that Tracy had got many roles for which Novella was not chosen. After this, Candace encourages Novella and tells her that she believes that she will become a movie star. She tells Novella that she is just going through a rough patch, but Novella becomes sad and tells her that she has not achieved any role in 3 years. However, Candace advises her that she should be patient as every cloud has a silver lining. Suddenly, two guys show up and Candace asks them to get them drinks. Before Candace and Novella both head out, Candace asks her to hold on for a minute till she comes back from the toilet. As Novella waits outside while biting her sore nail, a man named Dr. Simon appears and tries to talk to her. He admires her beauty and her name by saying that she has everything to be an actress. He is fascinated to know that Novella is indeed an actress. He asks her if she has a boyfriend, but before Novella could respond, Candace comes out and they both leave the club. The next morning, Novella wakes up with a heavy head and goes to the bathroom. We see bloodstains on her pillow. While taking a shower, her thumb bleeds from excessive nail biting and so she's it. She then picks up her portfolio and leaves for the audition. Next, we see that she arrives at a production company and meets an internee receptionist there. The girl tells her that Novella has a beautiful face for modeling. She tells her that a friend of hers is a good photographer and a filmmaker who is hiring new actresses. Novella asks her for the name of the company, but the girl sounds suspicious to her as she does not know the company's name. Novella yells at her and tells her that the company will surely be the one that makes adult movies. The receptionist gets annoyed, but she doesn't give up on her and tries to convince her. Then, Tracy comes there and Novella leaves in disgust. On her way, Novella bites her nail and tries to get rid of the torn piece of skin around the nail. She tries to pull it with her teeth, but she tears the flesh of her hand. Her hand starts bleeding, and while cleaning up the blood spilled on her shirt, she meets with an accident. Novella arrives home and looks for a bandage and tries to get rid of the piece of skin on her hand with her teeth and spits it out. She hears a knocking at the door and finds Isha, who has come to notify her about the eviction notice. She tells Novella that she has been asking her to pay the rent for 3 months, but Novella has not paid it yet. Novella tells her that she will soon get a big role, but Isha tells her that this has been going on for months. Then, Novella shows Isha her hand and tells her that she met with an accident and took a rental car to get back home. Isha gets worried and tells her to wait for her till she gets back with something to heal the wound. When she is gone, Novella starts eating the flesh of her hand, and then she collapses. Right after that, we see that Novella has been admitted to the hospital. She is groggy as she wakes up and finds that her hand is bandaged. She tells the nurse that she needs to go back home, but the nurse tells her that she cannot leave before the doctor comes in to check her. A psychiatrist named Morgan Walker appears and tells her that Isha has told her about Novella's tough financial condition. Morgan tells her that she has to talk about her wrist. Novella feels uncomfortable and lies to her that whenever she gets nervous, then she craves peaches. She says that she hurt her hand that day while opening a can of peaches. Morgan does not believe her story and tells her that Novella will be on 24-hour suicidal watch, during which she will have to stay with a friend or a relative. Novella tries to convince her that she is not suicidal, but Morgan tells her that the wound on Novella's hand is a bite mark. She first thought that the bite mark was from an animal, but the blood around her mouth and the pieces of flesh in her teeth proved that Novella attempted to eat her own flesh. Then, Morgan asks her that she must consult a psychiatrist. After this, Novella comes back home with Candace in the car. Candace gets excited to stay at Novella's home while she is on suicidal watch. Next, we see that Novella receives a call from a producer named Brad Hatcher, who turns out to be the boyfriend of the internee receptionist she met at the production company. He tells Novella that he has a role for her for which she will be paid $1,500. Novella gets very excited and tells him that she is up for it. After this, she puts nail paint on her feet and finds a piece of skin on her toe. As she attempts to remove it with her teeth, Isha shows up at her door and tells her that Novella does not need to pay the rent. Novella tells her that she will pay it as she has got a big role, but Isha refuses. While Novella talks to her, Isha's dog tries to get in to lick Novella's bleeding toe. Suddenly, Candace appears and picks up Jethro. In the meantime, Novella covers the blood on the floor with a cloth and wears her slippers to hide her bleeding toe. Later, Candace takes Novella to the club, and they both dance and get drunk. Novella tells Candace that she is going for an audition for which she will get $1,500. She tells her that if she doesn't get that role, she will probably start working at Candace's shop. Candace tells her that she will not let her give up on her dreams as Candace did. But Novella explains that she hasn't felt happy in a long time and now she wants to quit pursuing her dream and just live a simple and happy life. She wants to pay her rent and all the pending dues. Candace does not like this and feels that Novella is losing her spirit. Then, two guys show up who buy them drinks. Candace and Novella somehow escape them and go to the toilet. Novella meets Dr. Simon again and he asks her out. She takes his phone number and seems excited to go on a date with him. When they both reach the parking lot, they feel very drowsy. Suddenly, the two guys who bought them drinks appear and tell them that they knew that Novella and Candace would escape. They attempt to abuse them, but Candace shoots them in their private parts and then both of them escape in the car. Novella gets terrified and tells Candace that she didn't need to shoot them, but Candace tells her that she has to do this in alarming situations. They both get back home with blood stained on their faces. Candace goes to bed and tells Novella not to worry about the incident in the parking lot. Novella sobs and her condition deteriorates. She goes to Candace and tells her that she is starving and she needs to see a doctor. Candace asks her to eat something, but Novella breathes raggedly and tells her that her appetite is more than normal. Hammered Candace doesn't take her seriously and she falls asleep instantly. The next morning, we see that Novella is lying on the bathroom floor covered in blood and a lot of blood-soaked tissues around her. She wakes and goes to her bedroom after taking a shower. She finds Candace's "best of luck" note on the bed and remembers that she has an audition that day. She arrives at the production company with a bandaged hand and foot. The producer calls her in for the audition. Inside the audition room, we see three judges and one of them is drawing on Novella's photo in an abusive manner. Novella gives a bit of an emotional performance in the audition which makes the judges laugh as the audition does not conform to their content. They tell Novella that they are auditioning for an adult movie. This makes her angry and she reacts by throwing things at them in frustration. In the next scene, she is at a psychiatric facility where she meets Dr. Simon and realizes that he knows all about her condition. She repeatedly tells him that she is not suicidal and the condition of her hand is only due to an accident. Dr. Simon shows his affiliation towards her and tells her that he wants to help her and make her realize that the world is so beautiful just because of her. He tells her that he takes suicidal patients from the hospital quite rarely. The hospital gives him a list of files and asks him if he wants to take any of the patients on pro bono. He tells her that he selected her and thought of helping her out. Later, at lunch, they both talk, and Novella tells her that she is on suicidal watch and then tells him about last night's incident. Dr. Simon gets terrified and tells her that he is afraid of Candace. He then asks Novella about her life and she tells him that she couldn't get a role in the last 3 years. She has saved up some money and those savings help her to pay the rent. She lies to him that she hurt her foot in a car accident, and after that, when she learned that she has been evicted from her apartment, she bit her wrist in anxiety. After this, Dr. Simon tells her that he likes her a lot and he wants her to have dinner with him tonight. Novella accepts it and gives him a warm smile. Next, we see that Novella arrives at her home and sees Candace, who has come to ask about her wounded hand. She tells her that Novella wasn't well last night and she needs to see a doctor. She asks about her injured foot and Novella explains that she hurt it in the accident. Candace says that she did not see it before and tells her that it is in a very bad condition, but Novella ignores her. She gets ready for dinner with Simon and tells Candace about him. She tells him that Simon has suggested to her to quit acting. This angers Candace and they both get into an argument. Then, Candace leaves her house in frustration. Then, Novella meets Dr. Simon at the dinner and she tells him about her family and also about her fight with Candace. Later, they both go to Simon's house where he bakes cookies for her and they both spend a good time with each other. She has a nightmare and then she wakes up in fear next to Dr. Simon. Novella comes back home and sees Isha, whom she tells about Dr. Simon. Then, she finds Candace at her home, who wants to apologize to her for last night's dispute. They both patch up and Novella tells her that she has started liking Dr. Simon, and she feels very happy around him. Candace is happy for her and tells her that Novella can start working at her shop whenever she wants to. She also tells her that if something goes wrong between Simon and her, then she will shoot him for sure. Later that day, Novella goes to see Dr. Simon at his office and finds Tracy there. Tracy discloses to her that she never got any role and she always lies to people about it. She tells Novella that the producers always use her and they never give her any role. Novella gets sad for her, and then she is told that Dr. Simon also uses girls and he calls the hospital to pick up suicidal patients. He does this so that he can pretend to be nice with them, and later he sleeps with those girls. Novella does not believe her and yells at her for lying to her. Tracy apologizes to her, but she assures that it is all true. In the next scene, Novella weeps while driving back home. When she returns to her home, she takes off her bandage and starts eating the flesh of her arm. She is soon covered in blood. Suddenly, Candace shows up and she is shocked to see Novella's condition. She punches Novella in the face and knocks her out. Then, Novella wakes up and finds herself tied to a bed. Candace asks her the reason why she has done this to herself. Novella reveals Dr. Simon's truth to her, which makes Candace very angry, and she leaves Novella with her phone. After a while, Novella receives a call from Dr. Simon and she tells him that Tracy has revealed everything about him. Dr. Simon tries to explain to her, telling her that Tracy has been her patient for 2 years and she is a pathological liar. Novella somewhat believes him and tries to ask him to help her out, but Simon tells her that he will call her back as there is a breakdown in the ward. Later, Candace returns with Dr. Simon's body and she thinks that she has taken Novella's revenge. But Novella comes at her angrily and they break into a fight. Suddenly, they hear a knocking at the door and Candace finds Isha, who has heard them screaming. Isha tries to check on Novella and she is shocked to find her covered in blood. Just then, Candace shoots Isha in the head from behind. She tells Novella that she did it because Isha was going to call the police. Novella stands there in shock and asks her to hand over her gun. Candace gives her the gun and tells her that she has always wanted to protect Novella and also that she loves her a lot. However, Novella shoots her dead, and after that, she goes to the kitchen, picks up a knife, and stabs herself in the chest. She pulls out her heart and while dying, she chews her heart. Thanks for watching, guys.